with the CO2, it was really a more expensive way to make your moulds, because once it was used, you couldn't use it again. But when you use black sand to make your moulds, it just knocks your boxes out and you could use the black sand again. You just throwed it up into a pile and start and use it again. But in the CO2 with the big ones, it used to be brought down on a crane in a great big ladle, and you used to pour it into your moulds. As you can see in the picture, if you look at the feet, all this part of the foundry off on it was all sand. So if you wanted big moulds, you used to dig a hole in the ground, then fill it with sand, then put your casting in, and then you only had to put one box on top, and the other one was fitted into the ground. The mould in the picture has already been cast. You can see the box and the two big weights that hold it so it don't lift up. Now this is a photograph we had for Ken. He's 60 years of age, so we made him a cake out of sand what we used to make the moulds with, and put him some candles on and dressed it with some core filler. It's white. It's what you use to, if you put cores together and want to freeze them so they don't move. And when he come in, we put a big notice up, and he dined home. We all got together, had a can of beer, and we had his photo took on his side where he works with all the lads that worked in the foundry. Ron, don't know his name, Artie, Bob, me, Roy, Jimmy, Derek. Derek was the furnace man. The lad at the back, boy Jimmy, got a big moustache and got a green shirt on. He used to get the furnace ready in the metal for when we wanted to cast. Second line, Ashley, Kenny, Akbar, Tony. That's Kenny holding the cake in the middle. Akbar, he was the only Indian fella there in the foundry that worked with us. Sometimes he'd work mixing your sand, or sometimes he'd work on the back of the furnace. Well, with all the fellas here in the photo, good band of lads. If anybody was in trouble or wanted a lift or a bit of help, they were struggling, they'd always come and help you. No aggro. Everybody got on fine with everybody. Just a good gang of lads, that's all they was. I know Tony's passed away. He's at the front on his knees. Kenny's in the middle holding the cake. He passed away. There's Jimmy at the back of Kenny. As to the others, I don't know. They could still be alive. In the 60s, I started working in the foundries. We worked 1 or 2 foundries, different places. Where I'm on a picture in here was Cradley Foundry and Engineering, which was in Cradley Heath. They used to have an engineering shop at the side where they used to machine the castings before they were sent out. At other places I've worked in aluminium foundries, brass foundries. There ain't many foundries that I haven't worked in with different metals. It's all the same procedure, but just a bit strange in different ways. Now, the part of the black sand foundry where you made the smaller moulds, you used to use what they call black sand. But what you used to do in the black sand, you used to have to carry a metal to the moulds in a ladle. You had a big pot on the side. They used to tip it out into your ladle, and you'd walk to your moulds and cast them. If you look at that, if you could see, that's a big ladle like that, about that high, full of metal. 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 foot high, 2 foot round. It's on wheels, and at the back's got a big handle where you turn the metal and pour it into the blokes' ladles. And when they got enough in the ladle, you stop. You'd put your box down, your pattern inside, and you riddle with facing. That's nice, clean sand to make it smooth. Then you put the black sand in, ram it up, roll it over, do the same to the top, put your runner in and your holes to pour it down. Then put your weights on. Then when you cast it with the iron, it all used to steam up because it was all like semi-wet. So the steam used to come off it, and when it come off it, you couldn't see a lot in the foundry, which you can see from that picture. Some foundries I work, you used to work 8 to 5 or 8 hours a day. Pretty hard. No easy jobs in foundries. But when I worked in the brass place, one of my last places where I worked, I used to make all the fancy brass fires and all the brass ornaments. But I used to go in there at 4 o'clock in the morning and finish at 10. Because there was only 3 of us work there, and the gaffer used to let you work your hours you wanted as long as you'd done your day's work. Well, some days you get an egg, put it on the shovel, put it over some iron, and you used to melt. You could have a fried egg on a bit of bread, or you take a sandwich, all sit together in a pile. Sometimes if there was no metal down, you used to have a fire bucket, the old-fashioned fire bucket with a bit of coke on, keep warm till the metal come down. When the metal come down, you was red hot, you was too hot then. Worked for one place where I used to live at the time. 4 or 5 on us there. Then the foreman left. Then when the main manager come down, got another foundry in Walsall. I went to see him. And I asked him for the gaffer's job, foreman's job. He says, Bob, there's no way you can have that job. And I said, why is that? I know everything there is to know. He says, I can get anybody off the street to come and do the foreman's job. He said, but I can't get anybody off the street to make 100 moulds a day. He says, no way you're having that job. That's what he said to me. My brother used to work at the place in Birmingham, down the side road. That was a little foundry. That was a little brass foundry he used to work in. He was a foreman there for a few years, and that closed down. He moved to other foundries like everybody else have to. Most of the foundries now where I've worked have all closed. Most of the machinery's gone abroad to India and the third world countries, where they're just starting the foundries up now. All you got now is supermarket or houses where the foundries used to be. Most all other places just turned into units. A place in Cradley Foundry used to work in a little iron foundry next door to a fire station. About 6 of us worked there, not very big. But now that's all gone. It's all houses. It's a big housing estate. We've had all ours finished.